Hey guys, welcome back to Snowball Investing. This is the August Freetrade portfolio update. In these videos, I go through my portfolios, show you how they're performing, and kind of walk through anything I've been buying or selling. It's been a pretty interesting month. We've had earnings season, and I have been buying a fair bit, but also accumulating cash. Just a disclaimer before we start, this is not financial advice, and you probably don't want to take financial advice from someone who's a rookie investor anyway. So with that out the way, let's jump into the stocks and shares ISA. The current value of the stocks and shares ISA is £33,273, and I am down by just over 2,600. It is worth noting I put 1,500 cash into this account last month, and I'll continue to put at least £1,000 every single month for the foreseeable future. Looking at the monthly chart, it has been a pretty volatile month. Generally speaking, we've had a pretty good uptrend in the market. The drop you can see around this time is due to Palantir earnings, which I'll touch base on. And in the past couple of days, we have been trending downwards due to inflation fears. Regardless of what happens in the market, up, down, I continue to dollar cost averaging every single month. What I've started doing is comparing my portfolio performance to the FTSE All-World ETF. As you can see from the last month, it's not done as well. I'm down 3.6. The FTSE All-World ETF is up 6.4. Again, that's sort of due to Palantir dropping quite drastically in price. Again, I'm not overly concerned about the month-to-month performance since my time horizon for investing is 10 years plus, but I still think it's interesting to sort of keep tabs on how it's performing. Comparing the portfolio on a maximum time horizon, that's from when I started investing in 29th December, my portfolio is down an overall 10%, while the FTSE All-World is down 1.13%. Jumping into the individual positions, we've got to start off by talking about Palantir. So this position is down 15%. And that's mainly due to the earnings that came out a couple of weeks ago, which I think most people would agree is or was fairly disappointing. I think for me, there were a couple of red flags that came out of the earnings call that I'm keeping a close eye on. Some of those are that the rate of growth from Palantir is slowing down, and there has been for the past quarters. The net dollar retention has decreased. Alex Karp did say that Palantir will probably be profitable in 2025, which is not really what you want to hear as an investor. And the overall tone from Alex Karp on that earnings call was arrogant and, probably not very investor friendly. Taking a closer look at the monthly chart for Palantir, you can see it actually had a pretty good run up all the way to $11.45. At this point in time, I think it was up around £1,500, and it's been downtrending ever since and now sits at $8.51. So I dollar cost average another roughly £1,000 in the past month into this position. Looking at some of the details, I'm currently down £2,128 and got 1,736 shares. So has my thesis on this company changed based on the earnings call? I would say no. I think most companies out there aren't smashing earnings. There are a few who are doing very well, but generally speaking, it's not a great environment at the moment, and companies probably aren't be willing to spend, 10, 20 plus $million on this product. I'm still very bullish on this long term, and especially at prices below $8. If it does drop below that, I will be buying more heavily. If it drops below $7 or $6, I'll be investing much more heavily. Next up, we have the FTSE All-World Index sitting at plus 3.68%, which is pretty good. We have the Nasdaq 100 still down minus 1.06%, but I seem to be closing the gap towards break even. I did put £100 into Alphabet or Google, which is sitting at plus 3.94%, but I have been buying Alphabet much more heavily in the general investment account. Then we have Tesla sitting at £1,089, up a very respectable 22%. This had a pretty nice run up after the earnings call, which I think everybody thought was going to be an absolute massacre due to the China lockdown, supply chain issues, etc. But again, I think Tesla again has shown really good numbers and shows how resilient they are as a company. We have Microsoft sitting at a plus 12%, which is very nice to see. Meta down 9%, probably not doing as well as the other tech counterparts because it's a bit of a more riskier play, but long term I am still very bullish on this company. Next up, we have the S&P 500 sitting at £859.30 and nearly up 11%. If we have a look at the chart for this position, I mean, this sort of run up for an index fund is pretty insane. It was sitting at £55, that was on the 16th of June, and has this massive run up all the way to £66.10, which I believe is a all-time high for this index fund. Which is pretty crazy given we're in a recessionary period. I am holding off buying on this position because I think there are better opportunities out there. But going forward, I do want index funds, whereas this or the FTSE All-World Index, to be a very large percentage of my portfolio. We have the two financial plays, that's PayPal and SoFi. So PayPal down minus 3.81%, had pretty good earnings and announced a $15 billion share buyback scheme, which as an investor is exactly what you want to hear. SoFi down more, minus 28%. Again, in my opinion, had very good earnings. I'm very impressed with management and very impressed with the way they are able to diversify their products. So I did make the mistake of caving into FOMO. So you can see from this chart, after earnings, it sort of shot up to $8.23. Caved into FOMO, bought a bit here, and I put about £100 into there. And then as it's trend down, I've put another £100 to £150 into this position. We have Boohoo doing Boohoo things, still down a lot. I think this is down nearly 18% in the last month. Just a hold for me for the time being. The rest of the positions are much smaller compared to the ones I've just covered, so I won't go through all of them. Just a few mentions. Intel had a very miserable earnings, very bad numbers. You can see that's down 10%. Apple, I think people are running to safety, and Apple's probably one of the safer stocks out there, which is probably why it's up 20%. We have S4 Capital sitting at £204.38. Started buying this last month and I put a bit more into this, probably around £100. ChargePoint is one of my biggest gains at plus 36%. Cleveland Cliffs, that was a new one last month, up 18%, which is good to see. And lastly, Amazon had a pretty good earnings call and it's up 22%. So that covers the stocks and shares ISA. So let's move on to the general investment account. The value of this account sits at £8,425, and it's nice to see that the overall account is up by £425. Looking at the monthly chart, you could probably tell I did chuck a good amount of cash into this account in the past month. I put £1,500 on the 22nd of July, and then another £1,000 on the 12th of August. Comparing the GIA to the FTSE All-World ETF, I am being outperformed in the past month. The ETF is up 6%, where I'm up 2%. And then looking at the maximum chart, I'm still outperforming at nearly plus 6%, where the ETF is down 1.13%. Looking at the individual position in the general investment account, I pretty much dollar cost average across a large number of these, the main concentration being on Alphabet and Meta. So I put around £500 to £600 in Alphabet. So Google's one of these stocks where I think it's a bit more fair valued in comparison to the others, such as Microsoft and Apple. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's got a massive moat in the search engine space, and it's starting to develop its cloud business with GCP. I put another £300 to £400 into Meta. Neo, currently just a hold for me, not looking to increase any position in Chinese stocks. Starbucks up a nice 15%, and Amazon up a massive 28%. To be fair, I did get a bit lucky with this. I bought most of this when it was at pretty low prices and then shot up after its earning call. I've already talked about Intel and their pretty bad earning calls. Luckily, I'm only down minus 3% on this, just a hold for me. I'll put a bit more in JP Morgan, it's around £50 to £70, and the same with Oatly. Oatly is down 6.66% and one of the only smaller cap stocks in this portfolio. If there is more of a market downtrend, this is going to get hit a lot more. As you can see, it was down 7.88% on Friday, where some of the bigger cap stocks are only down 1 to 2%. If this continues to drop in price, I may dollar cost average more, but it won't be a very large position in either of my portfolios. Last up, we have Microsoft, and that's up 10%, sitting at £82.02. Wish I invested more in this and Amazon at the lows, but nobody can time the market, as I said before, so I'll just continue to dollar cost average into good companies. As I said in my last video, I have started a crypto portfolio, so as part of this video, I will give you a quick rundown of what my portfolio looks like. If you guys are interested in seeing and keeping up to date with this portfolio, drop a comment down below and I'll include it as part of the Freetrade monthly updates. So I'm currently using a Coinbase Pro to buy and sell crypto. The value of my portfolio sits at £4,777. To be honest, going forward, I'm probably not going to add much in terms of cash to this account. I just want a small exposure to crypto, and I don't want it to be a very large part of my overall portfolio, mainly due to the volatility in crypto. So the majority of the portfolio is currently in cash, so I've got about 50%, and that's because I've been slowly dollar cost averaging into mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, although I have a little Polygon and a little bit of the other crypto coins, but I'm not really looking to increase any of those positions. I want this to be majority Bitcoin with a bit of Ethereum. The crypto market has been very volatile for the past 6 months. I have no idea if it's going to go up and down. So the plan is just to slowly chip away and buy a little bit more Bitcoin, Ethereum for the next 6 to 12 months. So that concludes the August portfolio update. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you found that interesting, and catch you in the next video.